Hello, everyone. Sarah with sarahpacaro.com. Today we're talking about something personal for me and for you. And I know that this is true because I've experienced it. I'm not special. I'm not alone. I'm not unique in experiencing this. Not a single person is. And if they're telling you that they are and they've never experienced this, I would run really fast and really far. And that is understanding that it's okay to be sad and the being sad after making the right decision. It is okay to be sad after making the right decision. And oftentimes we expect that we made the right decision, we should feel better because it was right. And we get so caught up and wrapped up in attachments and labels and shoulds. We should feel better about making the right decision, but sometimes we feel worse for a time because there is a processing time, and it is okay to be sad or feel sad in the processing of making the right decision. So I'm going to give a couple stories and examples of this from just my personal experience with this, and trust and understand that you are going to relate to it in your own way. As you're hearing me share, you're going to go, gosh, that just made me think of this time when I experienced this. It was sad. It's okay to be sad after making the right decision. And I've been through big decisions that I've had to make in my life. And these stories I'm going to share are little decisions, little, big, relevant to size. And a lot of times they feel big, even though they're small. And a lot of times we get caught up and wrapped up in the language around them. And that impacts our feelings about it. I shouldn't feel this way because this was a small thing, or I shouldn't feel this because it was a big thing. And we mix it up and we create so many freaking stories around this: woulda, coulda, shoulda, because it was this, it was right, it was wrong, it was big, it was small, it was good, it was bad. We got to let go of all that. And that's the very thing that we're holding on to that's holding us back. So it's okay to be sad after making the right decision. Um, Story from last year: if you've ever done any kind of online dating, trying to reconnect or trying to connect with someone who you've got your list, right? And you're thinking, I deserve and I desire these things, and you list the traits and you list the qualities, and you really get crystal clear on what makes those so important. And maybe there's 6'2" instead of 6'1", and you're like, no. Right? And there's the blue eyes, brown eyes, green eyes. They must have blue eyes because my ex had brown eyes and that triggered me. So I no longer will ever, in my wildest dreams of ever, go out with someone with brown eyes because I'm now triggered by all brown eyed people. And you can find that your stories are completely crazy, all over the place, generalizing brown eyed people are bad because my ex had brown eyes and he was 6'2" and he was bad. Like, you can say stories like that, and you can get caught up in the attachment to that, the generalization of that. But what it really comes down to are the desires of your heart. So if you're connecting with someone online on a dating app and things are going really, really well, but you have your negotiables list and your non-negotiables list, and maybe someone speaks some reality into you and is like, are you really going to be okay if they have everything else on that list and they're 5'11" and you wrote must be 6'2"? Well, if everything else is on the list, that'll be okay. Okay, so that's a negotiable, not a non-negotiable. But the non-negotiables are generally the character traits and the moral compass kinds of things. And those are based on the healing you've done, past experiences you've had, and you connect with someone and they've got lots of the negotiables, and you're learning about them, you're getting to know them, and then you realize, oh no, they have a non-negotiable. Maybe it's what they desire for their life. Maybe it's their faith. For a lot of people who go through this experience, it's okay. You've got to have this kind of faith and be at this level in your faith, be at this level of trust in your faith, be at this level of depth with your faith and what you believe, because that's going to impact everything. What we believe impacts everything. And you realize, ugh, they're not there. And the old way of you, the old pattern that you would go through and that you would do, and you would put yourself through this, them included, is you would just go, you'd go with the flow and you'd go with it, even though you got that gut internal knowing that was like, no, no, no. And you're like, it's okay, it's okay. No, everything else is great. It's okay, everything else is great. And you're trying to cognitively convince yourself that it's great. Although experientially, internally, you're like, no, it's not. Red flag parade means red. You're like, this is not a red flag. No, you want to see red flags? Let me show you. Come here, little brain of mine. Let me show you my ex. Those were red flags. And this person doesn't have those yet, even though you have that internal knowing. And you're like, don't do it, don't do it. Come on. And so you seek external advice, and they're like, come on. How long has it been since you've gone out with anyone? Just go. What harm is it going to be, right? You've done the background check, you've looked at their phone number, everything is fine. They seem like a really good person. Just go have fun. But internally, you're like, no, no, because the one is going to have this thing, and I'm going to feel that it's right inside. I'm going to feel it, I'm going to know it. And you've got a decision to make. You're at a fork in the road. You can go, or you can say, this is what I desire, and this seemed to be present and available until this internal feeling became available. And now I'm not available for this. And so I'm not going to go down the path that I would normally go on. I'm going to go down this path, even though it hurts. So I'm going to end this relationship so that both of us can be spared any more potential heartache, heartbreak, or pain. And so it's time for this to end. And a lot of times when we're going down the path of receiving what we desire to experience receiving, and we realize no, and we listen to that internal voice that we've developed and that we've grown and that we've allowed to mature. It's always been there, but a lot of times it's been really immature and we haven't listened to it. And so we do the healing work around it, and it matures, it deepens, it develops, and it grows. And we're like, okay, I'm going to go the way that you direct me and navigate me, because I trust in you and I believe in you and you are within me. You're a part of me. You're the best, greatest part of me. You're the part of me that's always tried to keep me safe and always tried to keep me on the right path. And I'm the part of me that went against you, but now we're in alignment. Now we're in sync. And so I'm excited for this. And it tells you, and it navigates you, and it directs you that internal feeling and knowing. And you're like, oh, why? And it's like, because there's something better for you on the horizon. Because the one for you is better than what this one has for you. It's this or something better. And this is, I mean, better than what you've had, but it's not better than what you'll get if you stop here. But the choice is yours. You can choose to stop here. And you're like, no, this is a really big thing. This really matters. This is an important decision. And so you trust that intuition. You feel it, you know it, you're in sync with it. It's matured. You've allowed it to mature. You've allowed it to navigate you and direct you instead of this has. And you're like, okay, following my heart now. I'm not following other body parts, and so you decide to end it, and you're sad because there was projection of potential. This person, I built them up in my head and in my mind, and I gave them so much potential. And with that potential, there was so much excitement and so much future of like, oh, we could do this together. And I feel like it would be this way, and they would be so fun to go do this with. And oh my gosh, those are the things that I want and I desire. But your heart is like, this isn't the one. And you're like, are you sure? They could totally be the one. Look at all these boxes that they check. Check, 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 check. And you're like, but they didn't check that one, but maybe it's just that they haven't checked it yet. And I swear sometimes it feels like your intuition is looking at you like, you're like, stop staring at me. Why are you looking at me like that? Okay, you're right. Oh, God, I know. Why does it have to feel like this? And you're with the experience of feeling sad because you just made the right decision, and you know it, and you trust in that knowing. And it's that not wanting to know that not wanting to know that we knew. It's that. I didn't want to know that I knew that that was the right decision. That was not the easier decision. It was, but it wasn't. And so you feel sad. It's okay to feel sad after making the right decision. And the sooner you make the right decision, the sooner you're on the trajectory of the path to being with what's better for you, with you. Like the sooner you let go of the thing that's not good, the more room you have for the thing that is. And it's okay to be sad making the right decision because there's a release, there's a letting go. And so your internal mind is like, but what do I have to hold on to? Because it held on to something. And when you let go of the thing that you were holding on to that you knew wasn't good for you or wasn't going to completely fulfill you, it's like, but what do I have now? That was better than having nothing. And there's a story that's created in an attachment to having nothing. And a lot of times, if you've yet to do the deep core transformational internal work, that's holding on to an identity that I am nothing. I have nothing to show for my life. My worth, my life is meaningless. It's valueless. It's worthless. All the lesses. So we feel like letting go of that, making the right decision instead of continuing to make small wrong decisions and just hope that someday we go a new way and that it changes, that things will change, our feelings will change. But the further we go down that path and the longer we go down it, the more that feeling we get. So if it feels a little bit sad now, and you know that making the right decision and choice is going to make you feel sad, that's not a bad thing. Sad and bad don't go together. They're different. Sad and bad are unique, and it's okay to feel sad after making the right decision. And lean into how much more space and time you're going to get to experience in A, the processing of this, and then B, the moving through this towards the thing that you desire that's much, much better for you, towards the happiness, the true happiness, the pure happiness, when the most important boxes are checked. The other boxes may look different. They may have brown hair, they may be bald, they may have tattoos, they may not. So it's like all of that stuff doesn't really matter. But for the things that do, it's okay to let go of trying to fit yourself or someone else into boxes. And it's okay to feel sad when you have taken yourself out of that position of trying to fit a square peg in a round hole and say, this was the right decision for me to break free from this and reconnect with the inner strength and trust that I have within me that allowed me to do that, that allowed me the power, the skill, the confidence, and the ability to do that. And that's allowing me to feel sad until I no longer need to feel sad, because we need to feel our feelings until they no longer need to be felt. And sometimes you go to other people for advice and you tell them the story, and that has you question your own internal story. You tell someone else, and remember that everyone else is living in the world of their own agenda. And so sometimes advice, especially unsolicited advice, can make you feel worse. Advice is always not nice. Allowing yourself to process what comes up and to feel the feelings until they no longer need to be felt, and feel sad until you no longer need to feel sad, instead of going to someone else in the midst of your own personal sadness and saying, oh, this is what's going on. This is why I'm sad. And they're like, well, if you would have done it this way, you probably wouldn't be as sad. And that has you oftentimes question the way you did it and your intentions and motives for doing it, which make you feel more of the feeling that you're already processing feeling, knowing you did that because you were making the right decision for you. The right decision for you is not always necessarily the right decision for someone else, because all of us are individuals, all of us are unique. And so knowing it's okay to be sad when you've made the right decision is a powerful knowing. It's a powerful holding of truth. That just because you made the right decision doesn't mean you're like, yes, I made the right decision. I feel so good. Sometimes it feels that way, and sometimes it feels sad, and you've got to feel the sadness until you no longer need to feel sad. And then the feeling turns and transformed into something else. It turns into internal power, personal power. It turns into strengthening that inner trust and guidance system, and strengthening belief in yourself, and knowing as you did it from that pure place of your intentions. And if it was an intention not to harm, but to love yourself and love them, right? To set both of you free from this thing that you knew wasn't good for either one of you in the end, then that's a good thing. But you might feel sad in the beginning, and it's okay to feel sad after making the right decision for them, for you, for everyone. So understand that, and understand not all advice is nice. That's powerful. You want some powerful advice? Understand that not all advice is nice, and that everyone has their own agenda. When you really, really are truly honest with yourself, and you say, you know what, I'm going to allow myself to know what I knew, and to trust what I know, and to trust yourself in it, and not look outside yourself for it, and not look at someone else who has another agenda and a different alternative based upon the decisions you make and the ways that they impact them. That will help you, my friends. That is the truth. It's okay to be sad after making the right decision. Allow yourself to be sad as long as you need to be sad, and do the things that feeling sad does for you. For me, I cry, I take a bath, I go for a walk, I let the tears flow, I cry into my pillow, I journal, I listen to music that just feels and fuels and feeds my soul. My soul is like, oh gosh, thank you. Thank you for the light. Thank you for the truth. Because it is that sets you free. And knowing that it's okay to be sad, and stop making yourself wrong for feeling sad for making the right decision. Because that's what that internal enemy style voice will do. It will say, you know what, you should feel bad because you are bad. No, no, no. Because that is shame, and shame is not my future. Fear is not my future. And so I'm not leaning into that shame in that future, because that is an identity. And the identity is that I am not someone who believes in that is for me, because it isn't. And when you've done the internal work to set yourself emotionally free, you can differentiate and separate yourself from that, from becoming the feeling. Because you are not your feelings, you have feelings. Just like you're not a toe, you have toes. You're not a nose, you have a nose. Like, they're separate, they're different, they're a part of you, but they're not the identity of you. They're not the embodiment of you. They're simply representations of decisions you made, and it's okay to feel sad after making the right decision for you. So know this, take it with you wherever you go. And know it's okay to be sad after making the right decision for you, because that sets you free, allows you to process, allows you to be, allows you to develop, it allows you to learn, and allows you to grow. And if you're not doing that, what are you doing? Okay, I love you guys. Understand that. And here's this little thing that sparked the whole conversation. You might have seen that. I don't know if you can read it, but it says that it's okay to be sad after making the right decision. Okay, Pocahontas processed it. We do too. She is human just like us. I love you guys. And when you're ready to truly go deep and get to the core and the root of what is causing all of these things, and understanding its beliefs cause thoughts create feelings and emotions. And if you feel like you're getting stuck in it, if your emotions are supposed to come and go. If you're stuck in any kind of emotion for too long, there's something else going on. And when you're ready to get to the core and the root of the something else, what's causing it internally and unconsciously, so you can set yourself free and feel all the feelings, feel all of these emotions, and feel sad sometimes when you make the right decision, I'd love to connect with you. Because that's huge. That's paramount in your growth, in your journey, and in your learning and evolution. So I love you guys. I'll see you soon. When you're ready to connect, let's do it. Links below. Bye for now.